Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ambient Bass. Come to you guys through the phone. You know, it's not my preference, but we working with what we can do at the moment. I did an update to my MacBook Pro with the Tahoe software, and it's making my Streamlab be really weird. So I definitely apologize for the, kind of a weird view here, but I'd rather get to you guys than, not. But y'all let me know, is the audio nice and clear for you guys? Everything good? Everybody chime in. Hope you all having a great day. You know what I'm saying? If you're not, it was only a moment. Never let a moment ruin your whole day. It's a few minutes, a few seconds of a disagreement or whatever, but you make sure you have a good, amazing day on purpose. It don't happen on accident, folks. All right, let's get back to some stuff. So, what I'll do real quick, I always like to just give you a quick rundown of the sounds. I appreciate you guys chiming in. Let me know where all you guys are from. Chime in, let me know where everybody from. But, so there, I was using a Hog 2, Electro-Harmonix Hog 2, and I'm actually running that into the MS-70 CDR Plus and finishing it off with the Line 6 HX1. Oh, let's not forget the Zoom MS-50G Plus, which is kind of off camera here. I want to make sure you guys can kind of get a good view of that pedal board there. So, I use a combination of things to get sounds like that. Peel back some of the layers. I really can leave it there, but I like to add a little. So adding little things like that, definitely helps. So, and if you find little things like this, and all that good stuff, or hit that super chat, whatever. And check out patreon.com/allbasscreation for all my presets. You don't have to spend time trying to get all this stuff. It's already there for you. Let's go. Gotta love that Enzo X. Alright, let's head back to, let's see what we got here. So what you're listening to here is actually from the C4 Synth, that the chordal part. Oh, that's in the C4 Synth pack on the patreon.com/allbasscreations. And then you're hearing the bass sound from the Future Impact. Just that dirty, grinding, nasty bass. Also on the Patreon. Let's go. Yo, come on. Give me 1 second, folks. Everything trying to work against me today, boy. Promise you. Did the audio come back? Y'all got audio? Somebody let me know if y'all got audio. I don't know. Everything trying to work against me today. But I'm going to get this live stream done. Y'all going to get this work. Y'all going to get this work. Appreciate y'all. Anytime there's a problem, let me know. For sure. So I can fix it. So, yeah, we got the Enzo X going there. Enzo X, if you're not familiar with the Enzo X, it is an extremely amazing pedal. When I say this pedal does so much stuff, look, it's still going. All it is tap the bass. Just get crazy. And all those sounds that you heard from the Enzo X also are on the Patreon, So I know I know a lot of times these pedals are intimidating for a lot of musicians, but these pedals like the Enzo X, which is this big gold pedal back here, and it's just such an amazing tool. I can't express to you all the modulations, delays, reverbs, all the drives in there. It's got a bit crusher, a ring mod. It's got a little bit of everything. So, and it's got things like a noise generator, which you're hearing. That's that. So it's got a very flute-like sound at times. And let's see what we got here in this comment section. Appreciate all the love, all the love. Appreciate it all. I thought I saw a question there. No, I've never seen him. I'll definitely check it out when I get a chance. I'm always open to check out new music, you know. Always. Let's see what we got on the bass side of the game. Let me get untangled here. Chair. Come on now. All right, let's see what we got on this Future Impact real quick. Just some dirty bass synths right there. Ah, that's nasty. I think I'm going to go up to here. Matter of fact, let's go. Let's go a little. Let's find a loop real quick. Can't give y'all that yet. Can't give y'all that. That's too brash. That's good old Mike Jack. Can't give y'all that. Live stuff. This is my looper. So I use my looper down here on the floor. You may or may not be able to see it there, but it is a Digitech Jamman Solo. Yeah, sure. So I created this sound with the Enzo X. That's actually the Future Impact. This one's actually in 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is a good way to get good at odd time signatures. Like create patterns like this and work on doing different things with them. I definitely appreciate y'all hitting up. Appreciate all the So, yeah, it's just a good way to get good at odd time signatures by doing loops like that are in odd time signatures. I understand, yeah, it's not everybody's cup of tea, odd time signatures, but, you know, if you're into progressive rock or various things like that, you know, odd time signatures can get really interesting, you know. You can have different variations of it. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you know, you just want to experiment in various ways when you're experimenting with music, not just sounds, not just the notes you're playing. Sometimes it's experimenting with different time signatures, or you know, different um, key shifts or dynamics. You know, it's not always the big things. Sometimes it's the subtle things as well. You know, dynamics definitely make a difference. Let's go. Don't want to do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to that. Let's go to this one. Oh, come on. Hmm. So that Enzo S can go everything from this ARP sound that you're hearing to that lead guitar type synth you just heard to, of course, this other one that you just heard, that other one. That one's actually called Negus sax. Negus. It's pronounced the Bass Negus. But if you want the pack, it's on the Patreon and you can grab that. Bow. No problem. All right. So let's do a little bit of ambient work here. Let's see what we can do on that tip. And definitely appreciate y'all hanging in here with me. This is not my usual view. Again, I apologize. Updated the computer and they kind of screwed me over. Now my Streamlabs won't work properly on my laptop. So I do apologize. And I was just determined to get this live stream to y'all today. So make sure you hit that like button and give me a subscribe. It took, if you follow me, and some of y'all been following me every time I've gone live, some of y'all same folks have shown up, and I definitely appreciate you showing up while I'm working out the bugs and all that good stuff. But, always appreciate the support and the love. So thank you. But all right. We don't want to do all synth today, you know what I'm saying? Let's get some bass pad work going here. Let's see. Oh, can't do it with that on. So I'm gonna turn on this deep freeze. orchestral version of Michael Jackson's Can't Help It. So, you know, so a sound like that, as you well, as you may or may not know, that was just the Empress compressor running into the deep freeze and then into the ToneX one, which is running a JHS Color Box V2 tone model. I actually have a color box right here, but that's actually what I'm um, talking to you through. And then that running into the Plethora X1 with a flanger, and then that running into a HX1 on shimmer, you know. And so, yeah, I like to do little things like this. Oh, I don't want to cut this out. been having enough technical difficulties today. That's why we're on the phone instead of my usual setup. You know, those of you that's been following me already know this is not my usual setup. It's usually a lot, more polished and all that good stuff. But I appreciate y'all, you know. Let's see what we got in the comment section here. Anything we need to, I definitely appreciate all the love. Yeah, I love pedals for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Feel free to chat in the comment amongst each other as well. You know, I want this to be a community while y'all chilling out, listening to me play through different stuff. Feel free to chat with each other, get to know each other. Eventually, I'm gonna have a way for you guys to have like a whole community of things, more than likely on Patreon somewhere. But if you want any of my settings, check out the Patreon. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And I definitely want you to subscribe for sure. Well, that definitely helps me out. You know, you hit that hype button after you hit that like button, all that good stuff. It helps me continue to be able to do this a little bit better and on a grander scheme. Hopefully, Apple will release a update to the MacBook Pros so I can get back to my normal setup. But I'm hoping. Let me know if the sound quality is still good. This is my normal bass. This is the only bass I play. Um, just because it's a bonding thing. It's my baby right here. It's my baby. You know what I'm saying? I spent a lot of time holding this thing, caressing this thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I love this bass a lot. And it's just the most comfortable bass I ever played. So I do. It's hard for me to find another bass that, um, you know, and feels like this, sounds like this, and everything else. And yes, you can replace a single string if you break one. Yeah, you just get a new one, or you can. I use these um D'Addario Pro Stills, and um these give you like a really bright sound to your bass. Mine that are currently on here are old, but as you can see, I got a brand new pack right here. I actually change these every week because of how much I play. But if you use this in combination with this extends your string life right here. This a little hack for you. This Dunlop 65 um calluses on your fingers a little bit better, but you put that on as soon as you change your strings, as soon as you throw these on there, you go ahead, wipe some of that on there, clean off the excess, try not to get it all over your neck. And then that actually will give you some, less friction as well. These are some steel wound, they're very sticky. And it helps with string noise as well, especially on these extremely bright strings. These joints sound like piano strings when they're brand new. And these are far from new, and they're still pretty bright. So, one of the things about playing bass is you simply have to change your strings on the regular. What's going on? Appreciate coming in, chatting, you know what I'm saying, and saying hi and all that stuff. I appreciate all you guys and ladies. So even after having these strings on for like 2 weeks and doing gigs and tapping and slapping and everything else, these still get a pretty decent tone out of these. You know, really, if I clean those, quick, show you guys something. And I also, not only do I just put it on there when they're brand new. What's going on, folks? Appreciate y'all chiming in. Thank you. Appreciate the comments and the compliments. So if I take this, you know, I usually use like one of the included little rags with it, and I actually cut it up into little sections and then fold it down because I don't need it to be a big old floppy thing. Then I simply just ain't nobody using it. We're just gonna take the strings like this. Matter of fact, another thing I do, even before I do that, I typically will let the strings go. If say I needed to make these strings stretch, you know, I didn't have a pair of strings over them, do this for y'all live. So I take this and I do this, and I don't know why people act like this is the worst thing for the frets ever. You're literally doing this under tension when you're slapping. And then all that does is kind of get a little bit of the dirt off. That's all it does for me. Just gets a bit of the dirt off, so when I put that lubricant on there, I'm not like making a muddy mess type thing and just spreading it around. See how dark these are compared to these two strings? These two strings are already way brighter just from doing that, right? So So like you can hear where this string is. Right? Do the same thing with this one. And like I said, all this is doing, I'm gonna move a little quicker through this because I don't want to spend too much time. It's just a little quick bass tip for you. If you're on a budget and you want to stretch those strings, you lubricate them when you first put them on, and then every day before you play, you just go back and you wipe it down with the lubricant before. Matter of fact, let me just turn on the toner. We can do this real quick. Because all I'm doing is literally just going through, like I said, slapping off some of the dirt. No, I don't have a walrus lure. Or what is that? I'll check it out. I do have a Canvas DI, a Canvas, what is that, the Canvas stereo limiter, which it says not limiter, stereo line isolator. And a line isolator just ensures that when I'm using my ToneX on stuff, I'm getting a nice, like, good signal to the board without raising it up too much. You know what I'm saying? So you definitely don't want to. The thing I always problems I had with DIs is it always kind of brought my signal down, which makes me have to raise it up later, or it's like I have to push too much, and then I get extra noise and extra things like that. So with the line isolator, while $200-some, it definitely will ensure that you don't have to push your um, amp modelers too much, like in terms of volume and gain. And then that allows you to have a quieter signal and a cleaner signal while still having great volume, you know. So check that out as well. Another tool I recommend, you know. And it's always the Zoom multi-stomps are good. These are really great tuner pedals. They got nice displays to them and all that good stuff. Got so many switches. But even just doing that, where is it? So that gets you a little bit there, get some of that dirt off of. Then you just take the stream lubricant. What's going on, folks? So we're gonna take this, just like this. Just clean off some of this dirt. Mind you, you don't need a whole lot on there. You don't need a whole lot on there. And we mostly just need to clean like the top of the string where we make the most contact, with it. And I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but I'm just tapping it onto that little string lubricant pad there, like the top of that. I don't actually rub that on here because I use low action and it tends to get all on my neck and I have to go back and wipe it off. But doing it this way, I can be a little bit more precise in where I'm applying it and how I'm applying it. You know, if I see a little extra dirt somewhere, I just kind of just grab it like that. If you do get a little bit on your bass, you just wipe it off. It's not the end of the world. But yeah. So then you go from that sound to definitely a much brighter sound. I don't know if y'all noticed how much brighter the strings just got from um, definitely got quite a bit brighter, and I didn't even have to change my strings. I just cleaned them, you know, and got some of the dirt off it. Like I said, I took the dirt off it before. Now it's super bright. Even if I put my bass back flat, now you just get a nice clean sound. So it don't take a whole lot. It takes you just simply wiping the strings off. And what this also does is, like I said, conditions your calluses on your fingers, um, whether it be your picking hand or your fretting hand. So it just takes a bit off it. All right. Took a little quick break to clean the strings and show you guys a little bass tip. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit. So, again, you could be doing anything, but you're hanging out with me, and I greatly appreciate it. So, you know, there I was just using a bit of MS. That's pretty much just the ToneX one with a different JHS color box tone model, which all is available on the Patreon and on patreon.com/ all bass creations. Remember that, all bass creations. All right. So into the MS-70 CDR Plus, into the Plethora X1, and then into the HX1. So, and all that's every sound you're hearing is running through the Source Audio Atlas compressor, which is running an 1176 limiter and a 10-to-1 ratio, and it's running parallel compression, meaning half wet, half dry signal, and running both of that signal into a LA2A tube compressor, and with a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning no compression, and just using that for saturation and color of this overall sound that I'm using. So I'm using the first one limiter as an actual limiter, and the second one as just saturation, tube saturation, pretty much. So, that's been working out pretty well for me. I like this Source Audio Atlas compressor. It's very versatile. You can do a lot with it, and it doesn't take up much space. So, but let's rock and roll. So I definitely appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Means the world to me. And if you could hit that like for me, hit that like button. Also hit that hype button. Definitely helps me out a lot. You guys have been a tremendous audience for the time. We drawing to a close now. But thank you guys for hanging in there with me for real. I know this is not my usual view. This is not what you guys usually would be looking at, and you guys still chose to hang in there with me, and that means a lot to me. So thank you. And if you want any of my presets that you were listening to today, you can find all that stuff on the Patreon. Patreon.com/all bass creations. All bass creations, right? So check that out, and you can get you a pack for the Zoom MS-60B Plus, the C4 Synth, the Zoom MS-70 CDR Plus, the Future Impact V4 VIP, the Maris Enzo X, You can get the Zoom B6 pack, or any of the 11 preamp packs that are available for the ToneX series pedals and software. And you can also, just support the channel there if you would like as well. Definitely appreciate if you guys can hit that like button. Hit that like button. Run them likes up for me. Run them super hype up for me. If you feel like sharing this, if you feel like this was useful to you, you know, definitely do that for me. And subscribe. Make sure you subscribe so you can know when I'm going live. I'm gonna be going live a few times a day, so at least twice a day. And eventually, I'm going to start bringing in a band and everything. So and build this up, the faster y'all can get a full band in here. I saw somebody else earlier said, "Oh, he needs some drums." Y'all want to have some drums? Drop some super chats. You know what I'm saying? Drop some likes at least. Drop the hype button at least. That way, what I'm saying, it can help me get to a point where I can afford to bring in a band because they still going they still going to charge me for their time if at least I would still want to pay them for their time as I would want to be paid for my time as a professional musician. Rations, ambient bass effects afternoons. Um, I am the Bass Negus, Negus. You can find me on all social media platforms at the Bass Negus. And you can also check out my music at allbasscreations.bandcamp.com. Again, that's allbasscreations.bandcamp. And you'll find all my music there. And, you know, if you want, I'll catch you guys later. Sometime after 4, I'll start another live stream. And you guys, if you subscribe, then you following me, you'll get a notification. Hit that notification bell too, so you know when I'm going live. But other than that, I appreciate y'all being an amazing audience, hanging out with me. Like I said, you could have been doing anything else, but you chose to hang out with me for a while. Means a lot to me. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.